Have you ever noticed how the people who know the absolute least about a topic are often the ones fiercely defending their opinions? It's wild, right? Well, welcome to an explainer that dives deep into the absolute limits of human knowledge. Okay, let's kick things off with a number that might actually shock you. 53%. A massive survey of adult scientific knowledge found that only 53% of adults know that electrons are smaller than atoms. I mean, just over half know that the Earth revolves around the sun, and that it takes a year to do the whole shebang. The reality here? The boundary where our solid knowledge ends and our ignorance begins arrives much, much sooner than we'd like to admit.
The illusion of knowledge.
So our ignorance isn't just vast, it's practically invisible to us in our everyday lives. We don't walk around feeling like we're clueless. Instead, our brains play this brilliant little trick to make us feel perfectly competent. Researchers call this reach-around knowledge. They've actually caught people expressing fierce, passionate opinions on things that literally do not exist. We're talking fake consumer brands, completely made-up political legislation like the Metallic Metals Act, and people will confidently tell you exactly what they think about it. Why? Because when we face a gap in our knowledge, we unconsciously reach around into our general understanding of the world, cobble together a plausible-sounding theory, and completely convince ourselves we actually know what we're talking about.
The unknown unknowns.
Now, you have things you know, and things you know you don't know. Like, maybe you know for a fact you can't speak Japanese. But the unknown unknowns are the things you don't even realize you're lacking. They are your vital blind spots. For a quick example, check out this boggle puzzle. If I gave you exactly 3 minutes, how many English words do you genuinely think you could find in this grid? Lock a number in your head right now. This is the exact challenge researchers gave to study participants.
And here is how that played out. People in the study guessed they missed about 18 words on average. They felt pretty darn good about how they did. But here is the mind-blowing reality of those unknown unknowns. They actually missed a staggering 154 solutions. No way, right? They were completely and totally unaware of this massive performance gap. It turns out, you simply cannot see the solutions that your own brain fails to generate.
The double curse. Which brings us to the core scientific mystery we're unraveling today. Why do the people who know the absolute least consistently act like they know the most? Well, the answer is a little something called meta-ignorance. Think of it as a psychological blindfold. It's the state of being ignorant of your own ignorance. When you suffer from meta-ignorance, you're completely unaware of the multitude of ways you're messing up. And this fascinating concept sets the stage for what is famously known in psychology as the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Now, the data on this is legendary. When you map actual test performance against how well people thought they did, a crazy pattern emerges. Focus on the bottom performers for a second. The bottom 25% of people, those objectively scoring way down in the 12th percentile, genuinely believe they were crushing it, estimating their performance up in the 60th percentile. They wildly overestimate their abilities, thinking they're well above average when, in reality, they're sitting right at the bottom.
This creates what researchers call the double burden of incompetence. It's a tragic irony, really. First, your lack of expertise causes you to make a bunch of mistakes. But second, and this is the kicker, those exact same deficits prevent you from ever recognizing those mistakes. Think about it like this. The exact skills you need to produce the right answer are the identical skills you need to evaluate if an answer is right in the first place. If you don't know the rules of grammar, you can't write a great sentence, sure, but you also completely lack the ability to spot a bad one. You're cursed twice over.
Experts are wrong too.
But hey, before you get a little too comfortable thinking this only happens to other people, there is a massive twist in the data. Top performers misjudge things too, just for a completely different reason. See, bottom performers get themselves wrong. They overestimate their own abilities because they lack the skill. But top performers, they get other people wrong. They actually underestimate their own relative standing because they vastly overestimate the performance of their peers.
Psychologists call this the false consensus effect. If you're highly skilled at something, the correct answers just come easily to you. And because it feels so effortless, you mistakenly assume that everyone else must be arriving at the exact same correct choices. You falsely assume your own exceptional, top-tier performance is just average. You basically think, well, if this is easy for me, it's got to be easy for everyone.
But here's where it gets incredibly cool. When researchers took those top performers and actually showed them the lower scoring tests of their peers, boom, the illusion shattered. The top performers immediately and accurately adjusted their own self-ratings upward. Once they saw everyone else was struggling, they finally recognized their own expertise. But remember, it doesn't work the other way around. Showing bottom performers the tests of top performers doesn't help them at all. Why? Because they still lack the fundamental skill to even recognize that the top performers' answers are actually better.
The paradox of expertise.
So, how do we escape this trap? How do we actually cure the illusion of competence and defeat meta-ignorance? Well, it takes an incredibly ironic three-step journey. Step 1. You perform poorly but feel highly confident. Step 2. You receive targeted training that finally gives you the actual skills. And Step 3. Because you now finally have the mental tools to evaluate your past performance, you realize all the mistakes you are making and your self-confidence actually drops. It's a real paradox. Giving someone true expertise effectively destroys their previous overconfidence.
And we can actually watch this realization happen in real time. Researchers brought in bottom performers and gave them just a short 20-minute training session on logical reasoning. After just 20 minutes of training, these individuals drastically lowered their self-ratings. By handing them true expertise, the researchers cured their meta-ignorance. They finally had the intellectual tools to see exactly how incompetent they had been just moments before. It's a tough pill to swallow, but a necessary one.
Ultimately, what this explainer really reveals is that admitting our blind spots might just be the hardest thing for the human brain to do, but it's absolutely the most critical. The eminent Roman orator Marcus Tullius Cicero hit the nail on the head centuries ago when he described the ultimate goal: to be not ashamed to confess he was ignorant of what he did not know. Humbly admitting that we have massive gaps in our knowledge is literally the only true first step to gaining genuine expertise.
So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. What are your unknown unknowns? In what areas of your life, your career, or maybe even your deepest beliefs might you be suffering from that double curse of incompetence? The next time you feel absolutely 100% certain about a topic, just pause. Ask yourself if you're standing on genuine expertise or just coasting on reach-around knowledge. Stay curious, always question your confidence, and whatever you do, never stop learning.